if you want to do comics, don't do it.
Welcome back to episode 4 of Red Dot Comics Den. We are so happy to be here today with our guest Dan Wong.
Greetings.
From A Good Citizen. So thank you for taking the time to come
Greetings.
down and speak with us today. And we're super happy to, have you join us.
You're gonna regret inviting me.
Oh no! Why?
You'll see.
I'm sure we won't. It will be very interesting.
Actually, it's our first time having a single artist on the show.
It's like our solo guest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we took a risk today.
Okay.
I'm sure you can carry it.
I hope so. I am multiple people in one body. That is an important thing to note. Yeah. So for instance, if you don't mind me talking about this, right? For instance, there is the Dan who's like a bit more cheeky, frustrated, and angry. So that's the guy that draws Good Citizen stuff.
Yes.
Right. So all the fine art stuff is drawn by him. There's a Dan that's like more, professional, commercial, more business minded. So that's another kind of Dan. There's also the Dan that took me through army, because I would have died in army if not for this guy. Yeah, but I haven't seen much of him lately. So different Dans everywhere, all inside this body.
So it's like a army mode Dan.
Yes, there's an army mode Dan.
So this is like a more aggressive or like a more
It's a more,
testosterone fight.
I wouldn't say testosterone, more indifferent. Yeah, I think generally I enjoy talking and expressing myself, but I think the army Dan is a bit more indifferent, more stone-faced.
Yeah, for sure.
Cares less about things.
I think like for both of us, we were both like, for me, right, this is from my personal experience, I was introduced to you because Ling Ying mentioned like, I've seen you of course on our COMIXSG page, right? And then I knew about you because we were thinking about, so we have that COMIXSG Anthology, and then we were trying to to think of who can draw this cover, who can work on this. We need someone like, okay, we have a very complex brief, right? We wanted a lot of characters, and we wanted Singaporean identity. And then Ling Ying was like, I think we should go and reach out to Dan Wong. And then we saw your art. Basically, I was looking at your art and I was like, oh my god, it's perfect. Basically,
Thank you.
Singapore identity, ma.
Yeah. Actually, I was 50. As in, I was like, okay, this is a 50-50 thing, lah. I was quite sure that you'll reject us. Because I thought, hey, Dan Wong, he's going to be so busy. He must have so many commissions.
Yeah, I was worried
he
also.
must be like rolling in projects. Like,
The timing was very good. Yeah, you approached me just when a major project ended. So so in next month, Epigram will be launching a book called License to Care. It's about it's
License
good,
to Care. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can you guess
so
what? Can you guess what it's about?
I know technically because I looked into it.
Oh, okay.
I know because I have to do the guest research. Like,
Yancy has done her research very well.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So,
but we can pretend like
it's like tell us about License to Care that I don't know about and did not look into. Which is your first graphic novel, right?
It is my first 200-page graphic novel. I've done a couple of other graphic novels before, but those are like 40-page, 50 pages, which I think is doable within a 2-month, 2.5 month timeline. But this time it's my first time doing a 200-page graphic. Oh my god!
Okay, 200 pages is honestly quite a shocking number.
Yeah, man, I didn't sleep properly for so long, and my eye bags and.
Yeah. Wait, let's talk about what the graphic novel is about.
Yes.
Which I think we have not mentioned yet. So we shall talk about that a little bit. Tell us about this graphic novel that you worked on and your thoughts about it.
Sure.
Making this huge milestone, 200 book
Did you bring a copy? Just wondering, did you bring a copy?
Oh, it's not even out yet.
Yeah.
So they just finished press check.
We'll put
it's on pre-order in Epigram shop.
Okay.
Right now. So you can actually go into Epigram, type License to Care, and it's like right there. I remember it was on sale. So actually, they have
haven't sale already on sale?
Yeah, there's like a pre-order and then the pre-order sale. They have a pre-order sale
right.
thing that you can go in and get. Actually, since we are mentioning what's on pre-order, right, our Anthology also on pre-order.
Yeah.
You can show the cover, by the way, which actually looks really, really good.
Yeah, so after talking about License to Care, we also can't help but also plug another comic book that's coming out soon.
Which is drawn by Dan. Amazing detail.
Thank you, ma'am.
We have a total of 21 characters on this cover. So there's a lot. And each character is a character from the 21 artists that will be featured in this anthology. So we're very excited, and it'll be released in May. So if you guys are interested, to find out more about the characters that show up here on the cover, make sure you go check that out. So we're very happy.
Please. I had a glance. These ladies gave me a short glance of some of the comic artists.
We can actually share the digital advanced review copy, the full one if you want.
Oh yes, please.
Yeah.
So some of the artists are really, really talented. Some of the stories after reading, I felt touched.
It's true. I think the quality we didn't expect it. The quality is really high, and also there are 20-something creators, which to us was also like more than expected. We were like, okay, we get 8. Wow, very good already.
I was like 10, please 10.
Yeah, we're praying. Okay, because everyone submitted on the last 1 or 2 days.
Right.
So before that, we were like, oh guys, we only got 5. Okay, five. Maybe still can call some people.
Like, okay, the mentees got a lot of pages. I think still can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I was just bitching to VNC just now. Of course, you get it last minute. All of us artists do things last minute. Why do you think you'll get it on time?
Oh, no, I totally expected it would be last minute, but we were also afraid, like, what if they don't last minute?
Right,
there's the fear. There's the fear.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think what we could do next time is just bring the deadline earlier. Then we just don't check it. Just don't check it. Yeah.
Like try not to think about it, right, when it hits 12.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, wait, we're supposed to be going. Let's go back to License to Care.
Yeah.
And talk about that a little bit about that.
Sure.
Your big milestone, your first 200-page graphic novel.
Sure.
And the topic that the graphic novel is about. Like, what are your thoughts about that?
Sure. Okay, so this particular book, right, was one of the first books that we had to do in-depth research to cover, because the novel actually tells the story of NUS nursing students and the crazy things that they go through to become nurses. So I'm sure through SARS or through the pandemic that's going on now, people have come to a greater realization of how important nurses and doctors are, to our healthcare system. So these kids, right, actually go and volunteer to be nurses at the school. They get their degrees in nursing, which is an actual degree, by the way, like a degree or degree of honors. Yeah, and they learn these really advanced medical systems of care, right? Whether it's how to treat illnesses or the symptoms that come up, They're also like mini doctors, but they also have to care for their patients and do some of the things that doctors might not be free to do or can't do, And there's a mental aspect to this, which is quite crazy, and I respect them after doing my research for this graphic novel. So we actually went down to NUS and we went to interview some of the students, and the crazy stories not all the crazy stories that they told us made it in, because some are quite like R-rated.
About nursing.
I mean, probably like pee, poo.
Yeah. There's that. Yeah. So yeah, it's crazy, man, because they are dealing with the human body and all the disgusting things that happens in and out of it, right? And these things also affect the patient's mental state, right? And then they just have to deal with it also, right? Yeah, I mean, just because you give good care to somebody doesn't mean that they won't throw shit at you, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And literally,
like the ama, like and it's not her fault. She, maybe her mental faculties are not there. She's old, right? Then she sees somebody, maybe the nurse reminds her of an enemy 30 years in the past. Then she throws her waste the
waste
toilet
bag.
bin at them. It's not her fault, right? But who's going to have to clean it up? The nurse still cleans it up, right? But this is the very same person who has a degree with all these advanced medical things that you and I have got no clue about, right?
Yeah.
I respect them. I really respect them. So I had a chance to draw this comic about them. I'm a big fan of Grey's Anatomy. I'm not sure if you guys watch Grey's Anatomy.
Okay. Is that how the graphic novel is like?
Cannot, because Grey's Anatomy is about sex. So this one, no sex.
Okay.
Gotta be a part tall, but no
is
sex.
Is there like a hospital drama kind of
Oh,
feel?
definitely, yeah. So I also got some stories about the students. I mean, they are just humans like the rest of us. They get into spats with each other. They have got cliques. Some join ECA, some don't. Then they have group projects. Then some pull their weight and some don't. That kind of thing. So yeah, it's fun to pepper in these issues alongside their journeys to become full-fledged nurses. Yeah.
So did you write and draw the entire thing yourself?
No. Yeah, this is another first, right? So for my previous comics, I either work with a writer or I wrote on my own, which is a very tough thing to do. But this time around, my wife helped me with the writing side of things. Yeah.
Oh, so nice.
It's a collaboration.
It's a collaboration. My first
Very nice.
professional collaboration with my wife, which is I don't know, man. I don't know whether you should work with your close ones.
Yeah, that's what I wanted
wonder
to.
also, right? Like, did it cause tension?
Oh, definitely. But I'm
Yeah.
very happy we managed to work out our differences like mature adults. No longer like kids. No, you stupid. Your idea sucks. I'm glad I didn't say that.
So that kind of thing didn't happen at all. 'Cause,
No.
as in, if you guys are married, surely you're more, it's a different relationship with other writers, right? Other writers, you'll be like, I don't really quite agree with your idea.
Correct.
So with your wife, how do you approach this?
Same thing like how I will work with. Like when I'm working with her, I try not to think of her as my wife, but an author or writer that I respect, same as the other writers that I work with.
So do you all go to a cafe and talk about it, or?
No, we talk about it while we are doing like the dishes, and we talk about it when I'm like chopping the vegetables.
Really?
Really, yeah.
Quite casual.
Wow, okay.
Oh, then this collaboration, the working hours never end, man.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Work is 24/7, but I think that's a lot of artists and freelancers or people working in the creative industry. They are familiar with this,
Yeah,
like
for
the
sure.
working non-stop.
Yeah, which is very, very tiring.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just talking about the graphic novel that you worked on, right? And how like it's so related to a local Singaporean nursing experience, with NUS, with students in Singapore. I think it reminded me of it reminded me of a question that I was really, really curious about, was specifically like why you decided to kind of put Singaporean content and the Singaporean identity at the forefront of your comic work, because not all artists do that. Like some choose to go into fantasy, right? But you're specifically like your fine art, your illustrations, your comics has always been super, super rooted in the Singaporean identity, and it's why we also reached out to you in the first place for our cover, because we were like, Singaporean identity, we know that you'll be able to understand and manage it. Right. So why did you decide to make that choice for yourself as an artist?
I think this what you are seeing in terms of my art, it actually happened. It was a gradual choice. I don't think it's so much of a one day I woke up from it one day, I will be a Singaporean artist.
Yeah, for sure. What is this process that took you here and thought this is the best decision for me as an artist?
Sure. So I think first and foremost, I realized somewhere along my artistic journey that telling stories that are personal are actually the strongest stories. So, I see myself as a storyteller, and I think I can only have that magic to relate to people when I look inside myself and see that thing that I can use to relate to people. Sorry, that was a poor explanation. So that's the first thing. So, for better or for worse, I'm a Singaporean and my identity is rooted here, for better or for worse. So, all the frustrations or all the happiness that results from adopting this identity can be used to tell stories. So it's like ammo. It's like ammo to tell stories for me. So I just use it. I have it. I use it.
Yeah, I think the word ammo is very suitable because the artworks that you do, right? I feel they have a certain force to it. Yeah, like a certain fire. I don't know, like a explosiveness to the humor and also the content sometimes that you draw, which is quite. I find it quite unique among Singaporean artists because everyone draws local context and relatable elements for sure, but somehow yours always has. Okay, I mean, we talk about Singapore society quite broadly, Singaporean identity quite broadly, but you actually do a lot of political cartoon or political illustration.
Yes.
Yeah, so actually that is also quite specific. So I'm wondering how you started doing things like that. Like, was it because of caricatures or other political cartoonists that inspired you? Or?
Okay, so the answer to your question also kind of links to what VNC asked lah. Right. So I actually am a man on a very small mission. I don't think I've managed to articulate this mission well enough previously. But I actually have a goal in mind, for one of the facets of my artistic journey. So ladies, I want to invite you, right, to like close your eyes for a short while. Okay. And then in your mind's eye.
You go sell us some NFT, like,
oh God,
no, it's a quick one, don't worry, it's a quick one, okay? So close your eyes and then what I want you to do.
It's like a psychological test.
It is. And you will see why, okay? Okay, so I want you to imagine a French man. That's it. I just want you to imagine a French man from head to toe.
Okay.
His hair, his eyes, his skin, his costume, what he wears, what shoes he wears from head to toe. Okay? Okay, now you may open your eyes again. Okay?
Okay.
So the cool thing about what we did just now is that the Frenchman that you are imagining and you are imagining and I am imagining is probably going to be somewhat similar, right? Can you describe him?
For me, I think my first thought is just like a guy, like an attractive kind of French guy,
okay,
like
fine.
well dressed.
Well dressed.
I think I was subconsciously trying to avoid caricaturing him.
You were trying to avoid the
Yes,
caricature.
I was like,
right,
oh my god,
right.
okay, so I'm probably gonna have to describe this. So
Correct,
I'm gonna have to think about how I can make this least offensive as possible.
Right. But if you were, if you didn't have that voice and you
But
were
I
just
think-
thinking of the caricature,
I think it'll be your stereotypical clip art moment of
Correct.
like a guy, like unfortunately, like it's like that, right? It's your first thought will be like a clip art, like drawing of a French guy,
Like someone with a mustache,
like a mustache
and then
and
like
a
wearing
beret.
a striped
And a beret.
t-shirt.
I can
with a
imagine him
baguette.
with like a baguette. Yeah.
Okay, that's an exaggeration.
But this is the exaggeration, right?
Correct,
which
correct.
which we understand that it's like this is just all the stereotypes placed into one single
correct.
character.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. So can you do the same for the Singaporean man?
Oh, NS t-shirt.
yeah, the admin tee,
Oh dear.
flip flops, messy.
Right.
Yeah,
So
messy
the-
hair.
I guess
After pandemic, it's now long hair.
Right. Oh no. Okay.
yeah, messy
Terrible.
hair, beard. Everybody grew a beard during the pandemic. Hey, yeah. Just, I mean, no.
I mean, it's totally valid. It's not.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
So say right now, there's also a thing where they're saying like Singaporean guys. There's another brand of Singaporean guys, which is the Uniqlo Singaporean
Yes.
guy.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's been talking about
Yes.
that.
Yes. So I brought that up just to show you the fact that some countries have got very strong visual identities, whereas for us, because we were a young country, we have a very scattered, broken visual identity that's not exactly set in concrete yet. So I want to, my big bad mission is that I want to draw Singaporean stuff or Singaporean visual elements to try to cement that identity in our public consciousness.
Oh wow.
This is deep. But I actually
then it-
really
yeah.
agree with you.
That's the only value I can bring to this country. I mean, what else can I do? I can only draw only. That's literally the only value I can bring to this society.
Yeah. You know, like say COMIXSG, that was what I was thinking as well when we started it. Because I think in Singapore we don't have, say American comics, you know what that looks like, or like French comics like bande dessinée, like Tintin, Tintin. Yeah, there's a very strong vibe, like the
Right.
clean line style, right? Japanese manga, you know what that is. Hong
Right.
Kong comics, you can also
Right,
imagine something.
right.
Singapore comics is like, what Yeah, so I really love that cartoonists like you actually think about this, because that's exactly why I like reading locally and why I like supporting local artists, because to me I'm like, you guys are creating that visual culture and visual identity for us.
And I'm glad that like there's now a lot more people that are beginning to explore this, because like moving beyond the infancy stage, this is now where we are going to try and find ourselves, right? And then hopefully maybe we can generate our own style, like soon, which would be very, very nice.
Yeah, I'll be very curious to see what that style looks like. But of course, I mean, now we're also in that era where like there's so many different styles. Like there are traditional creators, there are also like digital totally digital, very colorful, 3D. There's so many different styles of drawing nowadays. So yeah, I guess we'll see lah. We'll see.
I guess that's why we always return to our culture as a drawing point, because I know for the Chinese animation industry, for example, it's like there was a period when they were also trying to figure out their animation style, and it's only now like they've started having a lot more animation projects where we see like, okay, they're really bringing their Chinese historical culture, their myths back into the picture, and then they really formulate that style, right, that is so strong. And then maybe like for us, we are trying to find like what holds our art style
we
together.
don't have any historical elements to bring it together. Like recently, I saw a trailer for this this Unreal game. It's the Wukong one. Have you seen before?
Yes.
it looks so
I
impressive.
saw that. I was
Yeah.
like, I saw it in the shop. like
Right.
some game show. And I was
Right,
like,
right.
God, what is this? I immediately
Yeah, it
wanted
looks
to
damn
play
good.
because I love like when like there's some Chinese mythology
Correct.
element in games. Like,
Correct. Yeah. So the Chinese have got Wukong. Who do we have? We don't have anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe-
we try with some. I guess we have. Maybe that's why we keep going back to like World War II, right? You know, like, for us, we have certain periods we like to return to. They are very pivotal. Yeah.
I mean, like, what is very okay? I mean, like, say Chew on it, right? Like,
Right. Right.
Chichu at
Right.
Straits Times.
Chichu, right.
I feel like that has become a kind of Singaporean iconic, which is, I mean, it's nice, and of course, like, I love the comic strips, and they're all over the place, right? They're in the public bathrooms, they're in the hawker centers and all that.
Okay, I can imagine that.
Yeah, so I feel like he has one step on that pie. I was like, I don't
Those
know.
guys, they are one generation. To me,
Yeah.
Chichu, like Neil, the Kapis,
Yeah.
Johnny Lau, you know,
yeah.
all that. They're one generation on there. Like,
It's
I
like
don't know,
their
man.
era.
yeah, it's their
of
era.
comic.
Yeah,
They are golden era. But what
So
we
what
don't
is
have.
ours?
Yeah.
Exactly,
Maybe
like, who's
yeah,
next?
yeah.
I think there are some rising stars but
Oh.
there are these will be like
Yeah.
the guys on Instagram.
Right,
I feel
right.
like it'll be like the woke salaryman.
Yes.
Mm.
Because they're so recognizable, they're huge
Correct.
followings, and nobody thinks of them necessarily as like comic artists, but then they're very recognizable.
Can I brag a little bit?
Oh yeah.
Please, yeah.
Go ahead.
Why?
So you
Yeah.
guys don't know this, but I actually
Okay.
work for the work salaryman now and then.
Oh, like
Yeah.
to help them draw their comics.
Yeah, so
Oh.
Wei Chun, he has this thing called a style guide, basically. So
Right.
he's a very meticulous style guide. He gives it to the artists who help him. Then he gives sketches, or then the writer
He doesn't
reading.
draw it all himself.
No,
Wow,
he doesn't draw
oh my
it.
god! Oh, expose behind the works.
Wei Chun.
By the way, I hope
Wait, were you like? I hope you weren't
As
given some
in-
kind of NDA or something.
Yeah. Oh, NDA, no.
Okay,
Wei Chun
okay.
was in a hurry, no time to make me sign the NDA, no. But still, the quality content is there. Wei Chun still art
course.
directs, right? And then
Yeah.
Rui Ming still writes. So I just see myself as a hand to help lah. Yeah.
Yeah, I know they only have 2 people on board, right?
Correct,
Like it's a
correct.
team, and I was thinking like the kind of comics that they churn out all the time. 2 people also sounds quite tough.
Yeah,
It
so
and
now-
not to
makes
mention the
now
business.
4 already.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
4
yeah.
already.
Yeah, they have to do a lot of business development. They got so much
Correct,
to
correct.
them.
So they got the business development person, so or additional writer, also double up as an additional writer, and I also have a full-time artist already, who so happens to be my apprentice, ex-apprentice, who ran away from me.
Oh no!
Hope you're doing well at the woke salary man now, Melissa.
I guess this is what you mean by the art scene being
Being
incestuous.
Incestuous, yeah. But it's good. That means her talent is recognized, not just by me, but by other people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
exactly.
good, yeah.
But bringing back to that idea of like, you know how we were talking about your work being very strong and forceful and a lot of personality, and I think like there's some elements that definitely is also controversial because you always talk about political subjects, and one thing I've wondered is that you've worked, say, with a lot of government public institutions as well, right?
Yes.
You've worked
Left
with
hand, right.
yeah, so you have you've worked with MCCY, you've worked with SG Bicentennial for it was like a short graphic novel,
yeah.
right?
I love doing that.
Aceh Attack.
Aceh Attack, yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes to this, right, how do you sort of balance this? I think this side of you that you mentioned that you're really cheeky and then the identity where you draw like your satirical comics, and then you balance this professional side of you that is working with the public institutions that
Correct.
would be very, very critical of the more political things that you tackle.
What a
So
tough
like,
question.
how do you sort of balance this?
You're asking
and
me
then
how
are
I
you-
一脚踏两船. In Chinese, it means
a bit, but I
one footstep in the
genuinely,
boots.
I am quite curious because you really are like on the edge of,
Right.
of that kind of work,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So are you ever worried, like will there be an official backlash, or how do you balance?
There probably
it?
already is. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. But I
okay.
think the stuff that you see me working with regarding government and all that, I just have the fortune of working with people that they expect and they know that when I'm doing professional work, I'll be professional. When I'm doing my own personal work, that's my own personal work. So first things first, let's get this on the table. Okay,
Yeah.
we are Singaporeans.
Of course.
We are Singaporeans.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is our God-given right to express what we think about our country, our nation, our state, our government.
Yes, for sure.
Okay,
Okay,
thanks,
100%.
thanks for saying this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's our God-given right.
is,
We are
it is.
Singaporeans. This is our right. It's not a privilege. It's an entitlement. Okay,
And there's absolutely nothing
There's
wrong.
absolutely nothing wrong,
Yes.
right? I will go so far to say as if I think a particular minister is stupid, right? It's incompetent. Oh, so and so is stupid, incompetent. There's also nothing wrong. It's totally.
It's out of love. A little bit. It's like we want Singapore to be better.
Correct, definitely.
Yeah.
Of course, you shouldn't say that people are breaking the law if they aren't. You shouldn't say somebody is corrupt if they aren't.
Yeah.
That I believe is where the line is.
Yeah,
That falls into slander.
Yes,
point,
yes, yes.
Which then becomes a problem.
Correct.
Yeah, I think the phrase that Tommy Cole used was like loving critics.
Loving critics.
Yeah, so I think that's where we are as
What did he
Singaporeans.
use it in relation to? Is this one of Alfian Saad's work or something along those lines? I can't remember.
Oh, I can't remember either. It was so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was a few years ago.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
remember
think
him
it was
saying that.
it was in relation to like the writers, like I guess creatives in general.
Correct. So that was the first aspect I wanted to lay down on the table. Okay, so
Of course. Very
having
important.
said that,
Yeah.
right, I see myself a little bit like a jester. Are you ladies familiar with what the role of the jester?
And the jester's
court
privilege.
jester.
Yes, the jester's privilege.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm a jester, I'm a clown, I'm a fool. You don't really have to take me seriously, and I find that the liminal space to say what I want in that space. No? So that's a very crude example, right? So if you are the jester, and then you go up to the king and you're like, the king is a fool, his policies are incompetent, you should depose the king. You're dead. Your head will roll. You cannot make it. And it's not funny. Whatever I said just now is not funny, right? But maybe you say something like, "Oh, the king is such a competent man, so wise, so clever, so fierce in battle, so good looking. But God is fair. Maybe his cuckoo bird is very small." So something along those lines, right? So on one hand, I insulted the king, but on the other hand, I also praised him. And then in the other hand, I got the whole court to laugh. Right? Then the king, even he doesn't like me, he'd be like, yeah, that idiot, whatever. So it's still
That's
safe.
just how the way he is,
Yes,
just
exactly.
leave him alone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, like, I think all artists have this privilege, especially you're creating works that are not so black and white, right? You're not really going out there to like defame or like you're not staging a coup or anything like that, right? So
I don't think
so in a way, it's like
already.
I think there's a way that institutions can be like, okay lah, it's just a funny picture lah,
Right,
and
right,
then maybe they'll let it slide.
Very harmless,
But I mean,
ultimately.
Actually, do you have any how to say lines for yourself that you wouldn't cross? I'm just curious because earlier you said so and so is an idiot minister. Okay,
Yes.
let's say
Yes.
is there? I mean, would you go so far? Like
Certainly. If I think that something really stupid is being said, I should express myself as a Singaporean citizen. I really think that the line is just not to say things that are untruthful or unlawful or to slander people. To slander people, right? I've depicted our politicians getting killed in gruesome ways, and it appears there, no problem. Like for instance, one thing that I did now, I'm very proud of this comic. Maybe we can show it on the screen or make it appear or something.
Yeah,
It's
which
this
one is it?
there is this comic where I drew when Prometheus came out. So I was really a big fan of the Aliens vs Predator franchise, right? So the aliens, they crawl up to you, then they put a little baby inside your body, and then you'll come out of you in a very gruesome
I know which one
fashion.
you're talking
Yes.
about. Yeah, this is
So I actually
iconic.
depicted Lee Hsien Loong dying. Right? The alien creature went into him, and then he was killed by the little baby that came out. But the little baby that came out in the next panel went into a primary school and then sat in the primary school desk and what the teacher is talking. Then after that, next panel is he grew up already and now he's in JC. The next panel, he grew up already, now he's in army, falling in, with all the grey shirted men. Then after that, he's working at a full-time 9-to-5 job, looking very like tired. Then after that, he's abandoned by his son at a nursing home. And then after that, right, is his picture, like the alien picture, right? At the columbarium, the square with the xiang, and then
Yes.
with the chrysanthemum flowers. So, you see, the alien is a true blue Singaporean, and it was birthed from Lee Hsien Loong. So I'm actually indirectly saying that Lee Hsien Loong...
He sacrificed himself.
Yes,
Yes.
to birth a real Singaporean, you see?
Yeah.
So are you saying that Singaporean, the true blue Singaporean is actually a kind of a monster?
You could interpret it as such. I feel like we are already monsters to like go through the system.
Yeah, exactly. Because that whole system of
Correct.
like what you described, very typical Singaporean life cycle, right?
I drew the
It's
comic.
monstrous in a way. Yeah.
I'll show you visually why is it monstrous, right? So it's not the alien that is monstrous, it's how I drew it, right? So I drew 9 squares, just nice, 9 squares, right? And these 9 squares are the squares that we grow up and live in. When we are birthed from our mothers, we are put in squares, right? These nice grids.
Incubation.
Right? Yeah, correct.
Things.
Correct. And then when you go to primary school, you sit at your desk and then you zoom out and
More
you see the
squares.
top view is all more squares. Same thing with JC, same thing with army, same thing as working at a desk. And then when you die, you're put in the columbarium. It's the same thing. It's
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh,
It's,
it's not the circle of life anymore.
No, it's a grid. Yeah, so we are monsters. You're right. We are monsters for living in this grid. But I mean,
like this grid. Wow, so in a grid.
It's just around it.
But kind of, I mean, you know, like I was thinking about it, right? In terms of the pandemic, do you remember all the like, you know, when you put scotch tape on the ground? We did this for an
Right.
event,
Oh,
you know,
more
and
grids,
then
more
recent, it's just grids and lines and so many rules.
right.
Yeah, I mean, okay lah. I mean, life is wonderful and monstrous at the same time. We have
It is,
to
it is,
kinda
it is.
embrace it.
Wow, this podcast is getting very profound and very deep, very fast.
I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing about humor, right? Like most people will look at it on the surface and be like, "Wow, this is a very you know, like funny thing." But beneath the humor, you need to have a lot of layers of like kind of intellectual processing to
I think,
create it as well. I mean, that's what I think of comic artists lah. I always think that the funny ones have to be quite smart.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm giving them too much credit, but yeah, but
Maybe.
that's how I think about it.
I don't think we actually mentioned what a good citizen is. We want to talk a little bit about
Yeah,
the collective.
what is a
Sure.
good citizen?
Yeah, and
is it
also-
a brand?
yeah.
Is it just your alter ego?
You also have the good citizen movement
Yes.
as well, right?
It literally is everything that you said just now. Yeah. I think when I began this, I didn't really consider this very carefully. So the good citizen ended up becoming everything. The alter ego, the place to express myself, the place to do fine art and sell commercial products. And then also now the business, the commercial business. So that is a silly thing to do. I realized, after consulting with a lot of close friends and, they're like, why do you lump your business name? Because we are a good citizen private limited now, all right, together with your art stuff. Then, if you criticize somebody in your own personal time, then people will think that the company is also the thing that, you cannot work with because, these guys are obviously anti-government. Yeah. So that was a very foolish thing to do. So if our audiences are thinking of doing something,
you can rename your private limited,
I'm lazy and I procrastinate and I have so much work.
and then you printed the name cards already, right? You don't want to. It'll be too late to
Sunk
unlock
cost,
it.
it's sunk cost already.
Thinking we were just talking about how I was late to do my AGM. You think if I late to do AGM, you think I will submit the application to Accra to change my name? No. The moment I get free time, I want to play Skyrim or watch Netflix with my wife. I don't want to do paperwork.
Yeah, it's okay. I think a lot. At least you have a private limited lah.
Right, right.
It could have all been Dan Wong. Then that will also become another monster.
Yeah.
Yes.
Multi-headed hydra, whatever you call it.
Yeah. Just to digress a little bit, right? I think one of the things this very respected and humorous local comedian Kumar said is that one big thing in his career that he didn't like is that he made Kumar the personality, the stage persona, is his name, Kumar in real life. So this causes a lot of problems, and I totally see where he's coming from now.
I know a good citizen also has been through a lot, and especially the kind of content that you post, right?
Correct.
And was there ever some comic or project that you posted that you got a lot of heat for? Because I know on the website you also mentioned that you were condemned by an entire racial group once, and I was like, what is this?
I think I was exaggerating.
Yeah, well, I want to hear the story.
Sure. Okay, so there's a piece that I did. I think specifically referring to what you said just now, there was a piece that I did called MRT, and it was just me depicting my daily commute on the train. So there was a time where I worked at the office, so I had to commute to the office back and forth. I have to wake up, at 9 a.m. Wake up at 6 a.m. and then get onto the train and so on and so forth. And then it's very uncomfortable because it'll be chock full of people. And I personally don't like strangers to touch me, so I stand very small. But it's no choice because it's super crowded, right? So the piece that I drew is actually a very crowded MRT with different people from Singapore all crowded inside. But I drew them, without their clothes. They're all in their underwear. Yeah. So I think what happened was
I
that.
remember this
Yes.
piece, yeah.
Yes.
It's very, very visually striking. Very
Yes,
interesting.
yes.
Yeah.
It was fun to do it. So there was a particular character there, it was a makcik character, right? So I drew her with a tudung, but then I drew everything else below in her underwear.
Oh.
So yeah, so
That's-
I got a lot of heat for that because I learned that it's like a very haram
Yeah.
thing to do. But I didn't know that last time I was a kid. I
we
didn't know
learn
that.
we learn.
Correct. So the cool thing is that I got to see like this giant debate on the page lah. So in Singapore, they are like more liberal Muslims and they are more fundamentalist or conservative Muslims. So they will have their fight there and all in all, I think it was a good thing. I learned quite a number about things. Yeah, it was fun.
So did you take it down or anything?
No, I didn't.
Actually, when did this happen? Because I mean, I feel if it happened today, like
Right.
in this day and
Yeah.
in this particular year,
Cancelled.
right?
Cancelled.
Man. Put a nail in the coffin already. Yeah.
It was 2000.
You will probably be put up on Wake Up Singapore.
Yes, I will. Okay, it's okay. I mean, I'm not particularly okay. The older I grow, the less left and right I am. I become more and more moderate. The older I am, the more and more moderate I am, and I don't particularly support one side or the other, but I am very sensitive to what each other side believes in. As an artist, my role is like a bit like a mirror. I reflect more than have my own opinion. Yeah. For me, I'm very moderate. I think maybe that's the reason why the government has got no beef with me yet. Because I think deep down inside, they look at my art, they know that, oh, this guy is a normie, he's a moderate.
That's so interesting. So you will make fun of everybody lah.
Everybody.
That's your position.
Maybe I don't make fun of people who don't have power. I think that's the only rule that I think. You are mentioning lines that I wouldn't cross. So I try not to make fun of people that have got no power. Yeah. So
It's about punching up.
Yes, punching up. All right, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. So the more power they have, then the more I'm willing to make fun of them.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I feel that's a political cartoonist kind of value system.
Correct.
Yeah, always punch up.
Correct. You know, it's bullying. That doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I see. Are there like any influences that help you in this direction? Like, I mean, even though we say Singapore doesn't have much of a culture of satire, like, are there some, say, like other cartoonists or like writers or even say like theatre groups that maybe have inspired you?
Just to name a few. I think Neil, if you can remember Neil from the newspapers, is one of them. He's a really talented guy, and it's not just that he's a good artist. He's able to accurately take real-world geopolitical events, understand the relationships between them, and then make a joke out of it. But in one panel or two panels, you know.
The political cartoon.
Yeah.
Maybe shout out to Straits Times cartoonists. There's you know, like, I mean, they do great stuff.
Yeah.
They've been there for so many years.
Hey, you know these guys or not? Hey, you ask them
Not
give
personal
workshop
friends.
Give workshop.
Yeah,
Sure got people attend one.
I think we can ask. I think they're quite okay. I'm sure they're very busy.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can ask.
Yeah, but they are the wellspring of knowledge. If you ask Chichu to do a workshop, all of us young guys will come and, you know, we need to learn stuff from the old guys. Yeah, pick the brains, yeah.
Yeah, maybe he can be a mentor someday.
That would be cool, right?
Okay, Chichu, if you ever watch this, please. Yeah.
If this somehow ever falls in your hands and you click on the link.
Yeah, actually, I mean, I think they're much more approachable than you would imagine, you know, like that's one great thing about Singapore.
I think because our arts community, like you say, is so incestuous, right? I
Correct.
think actually we are very, very open to helping each other out. And
That's good,
yeah,
that's good,
which I think is like
Especially
actually
those who have been in, I mean, they've had this career for so many years.
Correct. The Lao Jiao.
Yeah, the Lao Jiao,
Yeah.
I think they want to pass down the
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah, they should. I mean, well, I think they should because they can be responsible or they can have a part to play in growing the next generation, right? And the knowledge all resides with them. The context all resides with them, you know.
Yeah, Johnny is doing a lot of this. Johnny.
Yes, Johnny's
he's
cool.
mentoring some students, poly students.
Yeah. Johnny's cool. That's great. Yeah, Johnny's
Yeah,
cool.
sorry. Yeah, I mean, going back to the question.
Oh, yeah.
About you're saying Meal is one of your inspirations.
Correct. There's also a production, a theatre, because you mentioned theatre. There's a theatrical production called Chestnuts that I absolutely adore. Right. I think it's directed by this guy called Jonathan Lim, and he all throughout Chestnuts history, and he has been running for a number of years already. I mean, except for the COVID years.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's Chestnuts. They do.
That's the name of the play or
It's the name of the production.
the production.
Yeah, so it runs. It's a play, yes, and it runs. in theaters, for this amount of time.
Who's the company behind the production?
I feel like I should know this, but I don't know.
It's okay, we'll look it up.
We'll look it up.
We'll put it maybe in the
description
box. We usually do that.
So there's a lot of fun stuff, like they make fun of the the relationship between let's say Lee Kuan Yew and who's that gentleman, Lim Chin Siong, right? How they used to be best buddies, and then they'll be like like a Naruto Sasuke thing, and then after that they'll fight and break up, and then they'll betray each other.
That is basically what happened.
Yes, it is. But they did it in a funny way, a way that everybody laughed. You see. So yeah, there's a lot of craft in doing so lah. All I can do is enjoy it and appreciate it, but I wouldn't know how to do it. I wouldn't know how to write the script that can do that. Yeah.
No, but I feel like you're doing plenty of work in your own kind of way. We all do different things.
Yeah.
Maybe you can ask your wife to write. Maybe
another collaboration.
Perhaps. My wife is better at telling Grey's Anatomy kind of stories or shooting documentaries, but I don't know whether my wife shares the same like silly humor that I do.
Well, that's what a partnership is for.
Yeah,
we
I
help
guess.
each other. I guess before we wrap up, maybe we can have some last comments from you. Like maybe how about you can how about what maybe your advice to artists who are starting out, who are interested in tackling maybe political comics or just interesting comics online, or maybe tackling their first graphic novel and things like that. Like, what would you maybe advise them?
If you want to do comics, don't do it.
I mean, well, I can't disagree. I can't disagree also. But
let me break this down. Okay, why you shouldn't do it? Okay, because number one, there's not a lot of money that you can earn out of it. Number two, you have to sink in a lot of time and effort to do this at the expense of other things. Number three, mental health, exactly. Mental health is one thing, right? Getting burned down and all that. Then number three, you actually need to have certain competencies and certain skills. Like for instance, you need to be somewhat reasonably okay at drawing, right? Then next, you need to be somewhat reasonably okay at storytelling, right? And then you need to understand your audience, and it's a whole variety of soft skills that you need to jump into this, that you need to develop along the way. It's very troublesome to develop, and painful also. So I guess this is the reason why you shouldn't do comics lah. But if these reasons do not deter you, then you should, because if you know what you're signing up for and you still do it, then you should be aware of the problems, right? And how you can work around them, when you are doing comics lah, I guess.
I think maybe can you share with us, like, say, can you think of like one thing from your experience as a younger artist that made things work for you?
I feel like the time when I really kai qiao, right, or when I really felt that it's like a breakthrough, a little mini breakthrough, is the sheer importance of storytelling in comics. And I'm not just talking about like an instinctual feel for storytelling. I'm talking about the more technical aspects of it. You're very intrinsically familiar with the 3-act structure and how it applies to commercials, advertisements, 200-page graphic novel, 10-page graphic novel, and 1-panel comic. Right, you can apply the 3-act structure to all these things. What are different components of it? How do you manipulate audience emotions through the story? How do you switch parts out and put parts back in? So I think that when I realized how important that was, right, I think that's the time I really had my breakthrough. Because previously, all I cared about was technical skills in terms of drawing. I must be, the best artist. I must draw really well. I must be great at anatomy, expression. I must be great at drawing human figures in perspective environments. I must be great at drawing expressions, pretty girls, pretty boys, fantasy environments, high-tech stuff, that kind of thing. Developing your visual library. That's all I cared about. But I neglected that part about storytelling. So when I realized that you can't just be a good comic artist with just good drawing, then that was a breakthrough for me.
In fact, right, if you're a good storyteller, you can get away with being a pretty terrible drawing artist.
Yes, she's absolutely right. Like the oatmeal. Do you guys know who the oatmeal is?
Oatmeal. Oh, yes. The exploding kitten.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be very frank. I really dislike his drawings. They're very lousy. But he's a fantastic comic artist. I consume his stuff, even though I don't like his drawings. It's very funny.
It's extremely
Ultimately,
funny.
it's like the content. It's always about. That's what makes the comics interesting.
Content really is king.
Yeah, really. yeah, so that was a really comprehensive and very interesting conversation we had, I think. Yeah, so thank you very much for coming down and joining us here today. Really enjoyed, talking to you, learning about your process, and also about A Good Citizen, and about your graphic novels coming out. And also, we were very thankful that you helped us out on an anthology as well.
Thank you for getting me.
Thank you so much for this beautiful cover.
We have to show it off. We have to show it off. Yeah,
just bear with us while we
just admire
ourselves.
it. It's like, yes.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Really like tears of joy. Every time I look at this cover, I'm just like, oh, okay. At first, I was like, like doing this project actually for us, there's a bit. It's a bit of stress and also a bit of fear. It's like, oh, what if no one wants to buy this anthology? What if no one wants to submit to the anthology? But after I saw his cover, we're like, wow, actually we're set. Great. Yeah, we have faith in Dan.
Thank you.
We have no faith in ourselves. Okay, no, I'm kidding.
We have some faith in ourselves, but you elevate our faith.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you very much. Yeah.
So make sure to leave some links to the pre-orders for both these books, our anthology, and also to your upcoming graphic novel, License to Care. And if you like what you saw, make sure you subscribe to us and click that notification bell down below. And follow our socials, our Instagram, and also you can join our Discord community, which we have one.
Can I join?
Yes, you can. It's kind of like there's a lot. They're very excited. Okay. A lot of excited young artists. They talk about like the stuff that they do. So it's very, very fun.
Yeah, join us, please. We'll be very honored.
And I need to hear from you because you're the guy who drew the comic cover.
I just got on Discord, so I want to join Discord.
Yes.
As many channels as I want.
Please join us. It'll be very, very fun. So yeah, if you want to join as well, Dan's gonna be there. So make sure you join our Discord channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.